Okay, super. So good afternoon and welcome everybody to this engagement session, to this call. I'm really excited about this prospect, and it's been something that's been quite a while in planning phase, but this is going to be the start of CosTech Dental, one of our key digital labs, proposition or solution to digital dentures. So as we know, catching up with Spencer earlier, digital dentures, it's an absolute no-brainer. It's a revolutionary approach to restorative dentistry where you can scan a patient in one visit and literally fit their denture in a second visit. So it's a two-stage straight to fit process because you're really leveraging the accuracy, the precision of the scanning together with the design and the quality of some of the materials that are out there. I'm not going to steal too much of Neil Forte's thunder and CosTech's thunder, but I'd really encourage you to really digest what Neil and the team are going to present, and then do ask those questions around the process, around the lab and the materials at the end. There'll be a short Q&A session. So without further delay, Neil, I'll hand over to you.
Brilliant. Right, first thing I'm going to do is make sure that this PowerPoint works. Okay. Is it looking good? Wicked. All right, good start. Right, thank you very much for joining us. It's a pleasure to be on this pilot. It's actually the second pilot that we're actually working with my dentist, Crown and Bridge being the first one. But dentures has always been an absolute passion, and actually bringing it onto the forefront and onto this pioneering journey. It's an amazing journey to be on. So I just want to start off a little bit of the about us as a laboratory. So we were actually established in 1977. My mother is a dentist, father's a dental technician, and grew up in the lab and the dentist. So I've seen both sides of the clinical and technical. David and myself, we took over in 2004, and we developed it as a full-service dental laboratory. And at the moment, there's a team of about 40 in sunny Kent, a little bit sunny at the moment. We're very heavily compliance driven. When I tried breaking out of dentistry and getting into computer programming, I realized that compliancy was very, very relevant. And when I got back into the lab, I realized it was something that we really had to push. And that is because of the computer science background, is that actually started our digital journey all the way back then. Compliance driven, so we've been DAMA since 2010, and a positive yearly review. And we've actually been with my dentist, well, it used to be IDH, since 2011. As one of the things that we started doing when David and myself took over, we actually teamed up with a manufacturing partner in Mumbai. And so again, we're working with a small team, and we developed, and we realized a lot of the big gear and the equipment that we really wanted, we just didn't have the workflow to actually push through or the ability to operate here. So we teamed up with them because of their compliance, and they're very much aligned with how we perceive our attitudes to compliance. So ISO 13485, which is the industry specific one, and 9001. They're also one of the few labs that are actually FDA compliant as well. All materials CE UKAC. And at the moment, we have a team of about 300 working to CosTech standards on CosTech work as our own team. So what this actually does is it builds this synergy that it brings you as clinicians the best of both worlds, that a team in the UK operating, we get to service you very closely, troubleshooting those times when you have problems with patients, very demanding patients. You need technicians that you need to talk to, and we can give you the optimal support and patient care. All the time cases go well. You never remember those. You always remember the ones that actually you had trouble, and it's like, I need to call. And you're like, right, Neil, give me a call. We need to sort this one out. So we spend a lot of time ensuring the standard and the CosTech standard and the compliance. But then working with our India operation, They bring large scale manufacturing. When I say large scale, we're talking about units, machines that are developed specifically for hundreds of units to actually bring the prices down. They have the latest materials and technologies. By being at the forefront of it, we actually have access to a lot of the technology before it actually comes on the open market. And it means that we have high volume capacity, so we're not worried about seasonal changes. Technicians going on holiday, we can ride all of them out. So it really brings the best. So onto the denture pilot. We were working on it already, and we're working with Darryl on the other pilot, and we were like, let's sum this up. And it came down to develop an affordable two-visit solution for digital acrylic partial dentures for all patients. And when I say all patients, it means everyone from, if they are NHS, My Options, Premium, Premium Plus, all of them. A lot of the technology that's being developed has been developed for people who are either insurance based, like for example in America, in Germany, where a lot of this tech is actually developed. They don't have a lot of the restrictions of both time and cost. The UDA system, love it or loathe it, it's the system we're in. And so we need to work out a way to do it. So how are we going to do it? We're going to do it by optimizing a workflow from scan to fit. The optimized workflow, it doesn't just start in the lab or the surgery, it's working together and knowing how to work together to, one, give the laboratory what we need to produce the actual dentures. And then when you fit it, you've got a happy patient, because we all know happy patients are what you really, really need. Again, develop a cost-effective product for the NHS. So this is basically where we're starting, because we were like, okay, this is the highest hurdle that we can do. We can get in the best tech and the materials out there. However, the cost to you would be so cost prohibitive, you'd never be able to do it. So you're actually losing time by having to do a 6-week turnaround denture by doing all the stages from bite blocks, triums. The idea is your time as a clinician is actually more important. So we want to reduce down the number of visits. So we're aiming to get it in a 10 working day turnaround from the time that you send the scan to the time that you fit. We've put it at 10 days, and we know already that we're already beating that 10 days. But as part of the pilot, we want to see how effective and efficient we can actually get our entire team and get it down. If we get it down to a week, that will be amazing, but we'll see how we get there. So a little bit about the denture that we're doing. There's lots of materials out there, from millables to printables, carded teeth, anything. There's so many options. There's no industry standard as it stands at this moment. So what we're doing is, instead of waiting for someone else to do it, we're going to actually try and develop one ourselves. So the material, we're actually using a resin base. The resin base that we're using, I think we're already on the second generation. There's already generations of resin base out there, which are good. However, some of them come out quite brittle, can be very opaque. But the generation that we're using at the moment, it's a little bit more translucent, a lot stronger. And also, we're actually going to be using PMMA teeth. Rather than printing teeth, we're going to be milling teeth. So this does put one of the little restrictions in, is that we're limiting it just to 5 shades for this pilot. So be aware of that. However, we know from the lab that this is going to cover like 85, 90% of all the cases. A35, again, 2/3 of everything. Bonded together using a light cure resin. And then afterwards, then post-production, polishing, and then we have the options of staining, which is all going to be part of the development cycle to see how we can actually keep increasing the aesthetics. So the actual development cycle of the pilot, it starts off with training. So this is basically giving you all the information that you actually need to see what we need as a laboratory, how to get it, and how to get it done quickly without being too time consuming. So I'll come on to it a little bit later on, but we have developed, we've got a dedicated web page, which has actually got all the training material and everything you need for this pilot all in one place, that you will only have access to. Once you've got everything that you need and you're ready to pick on your first patient, no, not pick on them, but pick your first patient, get your scan and send it through, and we'll take it from there. Once we get that first case back, feedback. It's all about feedback, this pilot. The more feedback, positive, negative, doesn't matter. If you're like, you know what, I've got nothing to say, but it was good, perfect. But we take all of that feedback and then we review our entire process. And we try and identify where we can actually be a little bit more streamlined, or we can actually add new things. Take people's experiences that they're having with patients and see, oh, someone had a problem with this. If you encounter this, this is how you actually do it. Once we review it, we refine the system, and then we update the training, and then the cycle goes again. So what we'll be doing is, as we actually update a lot of the systems, you'll be getting emails saying, oh, a little update on this or a little change on this. So like I said, as part of the training, you have the pilot scheme, which it's got everything that you need, from onboarding to education, feedback, contacts, absolutely everything. First thing, how to connect your scanner to the lab. Scanning tips, which I'll go through in a second. Prep guides, this was more on the Crown and Bridge side. You can see the details of the Crown and Bridge pilot if you're interested, but we will be putting more guides on there, and limitations of any sort of cases that we say, no, at the moment, let's not do that. Material options, as we develop this as dentures, you'll be able to see more options. Also contacts, and most importantly, the feedback form. One of the things on the scanning technique, so we've been teaming up with My Dentist and 3Shape, and they've actually come together and put the most optimized scanning procedures and techniques that you can actually do. So these are videos that will actually link directly to your own page, to the Academy, Workflow Academy, and you can actually see them on there, and these links will take you straight there. I don't have your login details, so you will have to do that. But go through all of those, and then we're ready. For the onboarding, like I said, it's very simple. Create this, connect to your scanner, send your first case. We create your account. Once you've created the account, I suggest the best thing to do is sign up. We actually have our own lab portal. As part of the portal, you can track the case and actually communicate directly with the team via that. I'll come on to that. And here's 3 email addresses. I would advise everyone to actually use the My Dentist at CosTech email address, because that's going directly through to myself and Sanjita, who's actually working on this pilot with me as well. And then as we come through the emails and the feedback, we're actually taking it to the team. So the portal, again, sign up. It's going to help with direct communication, because it goes directly through to the team who's working on your case. You can track the case of where it is and what the status is. If there's any queries on it, you can see if there's any hold up or anything. You can see all your past cases, review the costs, and download patient statements. On the actual web page, on the dedicated pilot page, so you do have the option of just putting technical feedback on there, and that goes directly through to HQ. And you can do it that way. You can either, or alternatively, you can do it on the actual portal for each individual case. If you could just put on there digital denture, we'll know, but it helps us filter it. And then we'll take that, and as we get the feedback, we'll give you updates. So there's a few questions that have already come out when we've worked on the pre-pilot, and basically they say digital dentures, can they have additions? Yes. We actually use a cold cure resin to do it, rather than the actual light cure resin. The maintenance and aftercare, do the patients have to be aware of anything compared to what they have to do with their traditional dentures? No. Treat them exactly the same. When patients do come back with a digital denture, it would be great to get feedback, because it's only in real world that we can actually see how these devices are actually faring in the real world over a prolonged period of time. The ones that we've already done over a year ago, they're already coming back and absolutely perfect, but we need a larger population sample. Can they be repaired or relined? Yes, they can, again, using cold cure. So those are all options. There was one point, one of the FAQs I missed off there, pricing for this pilot. Is there any change? We're actually operating this pilot on exactly the same pricing that it is as the agreed prices in your price lists. If you haven't got that, I'll make sure a pack gets sent out to you and you can just have a look at the prices. But what it is for the acrylic dentures straight to fit is the same for the digital. The whole point of this pilot is to review that, make sure that we can actually get it at that price point and keep it affordable for your NHS patients and save you time. So I think that about covers it. Dale, what did I forget?
No, I think that's it. So turnaround time, prices, the processes, how clinicians can get started. And yeah, thank you so much, Neil. For any of the clinicians, the practice, I see Newick's on the call. If you have any questions, now's the opportune time. If not, then yeah, get ready and build a case. Yeah, hi.
Yes, so just sorry, that's Dale. So I just wanted to ask, can you add clasps? Because I mean, all my patients do require or want clasps.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah, so we have added clasps. What we do generally find is because these are actually designed, we can actually design it a little bit tighter. Sometimes we find that it might not actually be required. Again, this is where the feedback would be optimal, because if there's a case and you've prescribed a clasp and we've got it on the system thinking we might not need it, we can actually, via the portal, will actually send you images of the design, and then we can kind of like talk it through on that side as well. But yes, all clasps are possible.
Yeah. I think I've used the ALS lab, that I'm just getting used to the material now. It was a little powdery. I didn't understand that it was resin. It's just now that I know that it's resin and it's not acrylic. But so we just use a normal burst to trim it. And this, I mean, it's pretty simple, but it's just different texture, I guess.
Yeah, there's trimming it and polishing it. What I might actually do is, because the burrs that we use in the lab, I might put it up on the web page about what the ideal burrs are to use for the material. To also, if you do need to adjust it, how to polish it as well.
Yes, thank you. Oh, I have a case at the moment that I can send today. I mean, it is an immediate denture.
Yep.
A patient.
That's not a problem.
I think they are the most, they are the ideal ones, I think, for straight to finish. Anything we have to put in the instructions? Because I think in your price list it says STF. Is that the option?
STF, straight to fit.
Straight to fit.
That's it. If you are doing any immediates, you've just let us know how much you want it socketed. We have a standard amount that we socket it. If you will do it for the first one, if you say no, actually I want it a little bit more, or if you need it less, you might just have to adjust it. But yeah, if you want it heavily socketed, then just put it on the instructions.
Yeah, thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Are you looking at doing flexes and chromes as well, or is it just acrylics at the moment?
As part of this pilot, we're just focusing on acrylics, but we are already doing chromes digitally. As for flexes, we're actually looking at a completely new process for that as well too. We receive it, flexes via scan. They're just being produced the traditional way. They're not actually being produced by the filament printing. Yeah.
And that's, I think, down to the just availability of material, because I've heard that a flexible printed resin will be available, but who knows when that'll be released.
Yeah, that's with the carbon offering, isn't it?
That I've heard, Spencer. So yeah. I think just going to Neil's comment, this trial, this pilot is initially going to be focusing on just getting the digital denture solution right, but that's notwithstanding that CosTech are still maintaining their full service offering, whether it's crowns or frames, that's still offered, and that can still be done with the scan. But certainly we want to gather as much case volume and have active clinicians to really amend and get this solution right from a full digital denture perspective.
Right. And you're using Exocad, are you, to design everything?
Yeah. I think so. I've got Path is on the line as well. He's my director of manufacturing, but as I understand, Exocad and also Maestro.
Yeah, so that's the Italian software Maestro, largely used for orthodontics as well. And you would also have Exocad as the base. We use the software for designing the base, that is the pink resin workflow, and also the teeth. The teeth would be milled, which is what brings it the strength, just like the carded teeth, traditionally used in the acrylic dentures. And that's the workflow that we will stick to.
And how you find it with the reference denture technique from Trios with when we scan everything in, we leave a window open. I know Exocad doesn't like that. Is Mistro a little bit different?
We can work around it. So if you want to try one of the cases, please feel free to send us one reference denture. What we would do is essentially superimpose them and then work on our new design, almost like tracing a drawing from a tracing paper. So we can work with a reference denture file as long as it's an STL open file.
Okay, so will you convert those STL open files from DCM from 3Shape?
Yeah. So once we have the files, we can prepare a workflow for copy dentures or reference dentures as well. This is something that can also help with the 2-day appointment aim that Neil was talking about, because a copy denture is something like straight to fit and can really speed up the clinical side of delivering these dentures.
Okay, great. So you can preserve that sort of 5-6 mil roll border of those reference dentures with that workflow. Perfect.
Certainly.
And what teeth do you use? Which libraries, digital libraries are you using?
We use the Italian brand called Ruthenium. This is known and it's been a family business for over 50 years, I believe. I don't know the exact number, but we met them at the Germany IDS again, and this is their workflow that was launched this March at the IDS. The discs for the teeth to mill and the carded teeth on the Premium Plus range, which will be the highly aesthetic options, are all coming in from Italy. So the brand of this company is Acri Plus Digi-Smart.
And have you got some mold charts for those?
Yeah, we do have those options. The cool thing here is we could also accept in the near future in this development, like Neil mentioned, face scans. So you wouldn't have to worry about selecting mold charts. We would be able to bring that face scan into Exocad. There are great easy softwares on your iPhone apps or Samsung, whichever you prefer. The company is called Clone with a Q. QLONE you could use to do a face scan and then just download that STL to share with us. We will superimpose this into the Exocad and we'll be designing on patient's live face. Now, of course, there will be some protocols and workflows that we will help support how to do this easily and quickly without a heavy investment. So we don't have to go back to the traditional ways of doing acrylic dentures with mold charts. This would be something that would really speed up the process.
Okay, fine. And can you share those protocols once you've got them up and running? Because I'd be very interested to do that, because that is absolutely game changing to be designing this in the patient's mouth on the CAD software.
Yep.
So
that's really exciting. And Spencer, yeah, thank you for the engagement and the questions. It really goes to show what I mentioned just in the initial sort of messaging out there. I think what we're trying to achieve here in collaborating with CosTech Lakshmi is the idea that we're trying to break the mold, no pun intended, doing something cutting edge that we haven't previously seen with other labs, but really we need clinician involvement in cases to get this right. So as many cases, and have the conversations, have those feedback loop with the lab, that we can get this right for the clinicians, and that helps the lab develop these solutions as well. Super.
Brilliant.
Cool. Is there any other questions for the team? Super. If not, well, thank you all for your time. Thank you,
Sorry,
Neil.
just-
Sorry,
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, it takes a while. The last question for the patient that I'm going to send, he did want to find out whether he could have a mesh on the palate, metal mesh, because he's prone to fracture. So I don't know how the Western dentures are going to, are they high impact, or are they similar to acrylic? Will they need a mesh to reinforce it, to strengthen it?
I think generally they're less brittle. Go on, Path.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, so they're
Yeah.
definitely less brittle. I could probably take this one. So you could add a metal mesh if you need, but this would be practically taking back the process of flasking and packing in the acrylic. So you might as well do the whole workflow the traditional way. I would encourage, if you would like to take us up on this, to try this denture to see if this one surpasses that strength. We can always look at the previous denture. If you are willing to send that over to us as well, we'll see where that crack lines are appearing, or even if there's photos that you could send us, so we know where we need to maybe increase the thickness to support it. Traditionally, these dentures fail with the fractures happening straight, down the palate. This is where we could really in the CAD design it differently, versus when you're waxing up in a lab. You can't see the thickness under the wax, to the model to see exactly how much is it where. We can work around this. So I would encourage you to try the first one, and this would be a great case to see what kind of strength it can uphold.
No, I think I'll try and then see. If
in our
it's
trials, it's
working,
been great. So it's surpassing the strength of
Acrylic.
those top 10 brands of standard acrylics.
Thank you.
And I think as reassurance, just to back up what Path said, and I'm sure Spencer could back me up here, the difference now in going to a digital workflow is that CAD design, that digital denture design is on file. So should we need to recall the denture for whatever reason, if it's a fracture, if it's to copy or to redesign, we've got that design file on record, as opposed to then potentially getting the patient in to do a whole new impression. So really that streamlined approach helps a lot with efficiency.
Absolutely, Dale. Thank you for adding that. That's the other thing we could do for this patient, actually. We have this plan to go one for spare and one for wear in the future. So yeah, we could definitely do this for patients that have had challenges maintaining, or with breakages with the dentures.
Sorry, Spencer, you wanted to come in?
Yeah, just to add to that, most of the fractures are due to either the patient dropping them or occlusal loads. What I've found with the digital and the way you capture it digitally, you have less problems with occlusions rather than the analog way. So you get less fractures, what I've been finding, due to occlusions with the right digital capture.
Super. I think, Path, just on a side note, you might want to trademark that saying, one for stare, one for wear. that could be your new tagline. Yeah, you might have to investigate in that. No, but are there any further questions for the team? If not, we could wrap up in this 30-minute call. So just on behalf of my dentist, thank you, Neil, thank you, Path, for taking the time out. I think really insightful, exciting at the same time. I know it is innovative and we're pushing the boundaries here, and really it's just about, to the clinicians on the call, trial it out, get stuck in, send a case over, but at the same time get that feedback in, because that's really how we know if something's working or not.
Actually, Dale, 1 second. Sorry, I joined the call very late.
No, Sheila. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, but I've been using CosTech for a while, obviously, for my denture work, and and thank you guys. I mean, I think the app and your communication is really good, so thanks for that. But I'll definitely trial these dentures. I've not seen the presentation, so I'll go back and have a look. But thank you for what you do.
Yeah, we'll
Brilliant.
get the,
Thanks, Sheila.
thank you very much. It's yeah, Dale, if you send the recording over, I can get that put on the web page as well.
Will do. Super. Thanks all. Well, enjoy the remainder of your day. Enjoy your lunch. And yeah, we'll send out the relevant recording as well as the link to this landing page Neil just presented, which will have all the supporting info, how you get started. And then, yeah, looking forward to getting those cases in and really getting stuck into this, because as I said, it's an exciting, innovative workflow. And this is just the start. So thanks all. Thanks for joining, and we'll speak soon.
Brilliant.
Cheers all. Have a
Take
good
care.
day.
Ciao.
Bye.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.